Attic ladder. So I ordered this on Amazon. There'll be a link in the description. To be honest with you, I don't know how they make any money off of these things. It was free shipping, and it was like 128 or 168. So it wasn't very expensive for an attic ladder. Shipped right to my door. So I didn't even have to go down to the hardware store and pick it up and load it in my truck and haul it home. They just, boom, dropped it off in the garage. Amazing. With that said, this attic ladder is going to go in this hole above my head, and that hole is not cut to size and it is not framed in yet, so we will cover all those things momentarily, but we're going to talk about getting this installed real quick. I realize that this hole is in the track path of the garage door, and I realize that's not a very smart thing to do. For example, if this were to be down and the garage door were to be open, they would collide and potentially damage and or break something. I don't have very many other options. This is the only bay in this entire attic section that does not have some wire or plumbing or just, this attic was a mess of stuff. Long and short of it, this was the bay that needed to be in. And not only that, but for how we use the garage, this is the section of the garage right here that is always open. There's nothing ever here. The car is parked here, but moving the car is a lot easier than moving like shelves or treadmills or other things that would be in the way. So this is the spot we're doing it. I don't recommend putting them in the path of a garage door, but I'm going to do that anyway. So we're going to cover the installation. Just cut me a break on the whole fact it's in the track path of the door. I need to do some framework, so framing between the trusses in order to support the new stairwell. All right, so we're up here. I got my drill and my screws and the boards. Before I put these in place, I'm gonna measure back from that header back there to up here to make sure we're exactly 54. 54 is right there, and then on the other side, 54 is right here. So that's where our boards need to be. So we'll get our first one in here. A little persuasion. First board in. Second one should go a little easier, I would think. That's how you bruise your hand really good. I hate doing this with the drill, but I'm going to because I'm not getting down. I'm sure a lot of you guys will criticize me for that, but I don't really care. That's the nice thing about these brushless drills. They're nice and flat on the back. Work really well for a hammer. Now that we've got that in place, we're just going to use the screws. So 8 total. And that's all there is to putting the header in. So this is our last little bit of sheetrock. Ready to install the ladder. We have a rough framed opening of 22.5 by 54. We are ready to prep the attic ladder for installation. Provided in the kit are metal straps, are temporarily used to hold the door in place while you're installing it with shims and nails or screws. So these metal straps are going to get nailed to the frame of the ladder so that we can get it up in there and get it in place. We're going to use the provided, these are roofing nails. They're real short so they won't blow through the side of the frame. We're going to nail these around the frame as specified in the instructions. So the first 2 are going to go just behind the door stop blocks. So here. So there's the first one. So the other 2 go on the far end, the hinge side down here, and they actually go to the outsidemost corner. Okay. So we will slide this up in the attic. I'll bend these tabs over, and these tabs get held in place with 16 penny nails, which are also provided. But now we're to the point where we need to get up in the attic and get my assistant out here to lift this into place so I can bend over the brackets. Ready? Here we go. Here we go. Right there. All right, I'm gonna hold it. You're gonna back up. You're gonna lift the bottom. There you go. Keep going. It's the string, you're good. I've got this whole side, you can grab the bottom. This whole side's sitting on a lip. You're good, it's okay, it's okay. I'm gonna lower this one down a little bit. Just grab that side, you're fine. Okay, it can't fall down anymore. So now I'm gonna shimmy around this other side and you're gonna lift up that other end. It's gonna be a little bit tricky to push, but you'll make it, it'll go. Alright, tell me when it's flush.
You're way past flush.
Alright, I'm gonna lower it back down. Can you hold it flush for about 30 seconds?
Yep. A little bit more. Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
I'm gonna let go.
Okay.
Alright, tell me when it's flush.
You're way past flush.
Alright, I'm gonna lower it back down. Can you hold it flush for about 30 seconds?
Yep. A little bit more. Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
I'm gonna let go.
Okay.
You can go ahead and pull it down very carefully and slowly. Thought you were trying to be funny.
I just didn't want to end up pulling too hard and like.
Oh no, they're pretty difficult to open. Required to have 2 people to do this. I thought at the beginning I'd be able to do it with 1. That is absolutely not the case. It is definitely a 2-person job. So if you don't have 2 people, don't try and do it. The first step in securing this permanently to the framework is to actually drive screws through this plate or this hinge side. I'm going to go through these holes on the brackets. There's 2 holes so that we're picking up this metal framework and we're going to secure that directly into the header that we installed earlier. I'm going to throw 1 right in the middle for good measure. Now that we've secured the back end, well, the front end I guess, we need to make sure that the framework is perfectly square. And we're going to do that by measuring the framework corner to corner and then comparing that measurement from the opposite measurement corner to corner. And we're exactly at 57 3/4 on this one also. So we know we're square. So now the trick is to not get it out of square as we put shims in to secure it. I don't like having to stack shims, so in this instance a piece of 1/2 inch is going to fit down in there just for a little bit of an easier installation. So there's 1. And we're going to drive 2 screws through those shims. At this point, we need to shim the sides. Once again, I'm going to put a shim behind this hinge location. Yeah. That's technically not required, but more is better in my opinion. So now the framework is permanently installed. We've got 2 screws on this end, 3 screws at the hinge side, and 2 on each side at the hinge location. Now that the framework is securely installed up in the attic, we need to cut the legs to length. We have to take extremely accurate measurements from the bottom of this section of stairs on the top edge and the bottom edge, so A side and B side, with a straight line down to the floor. You absolutely have to measure all 4 measurements. So A on the first leg and AB on the second leg. Specifically in my case, where my concrete in my garage is sloped out, the leg on this side will be slightly longer than the leg on the other side. So if I were to just cut them both at the same measurement, it wouldn't work correctly. So I'm going to use some Woodpecker precision measurement tooling. You could do this with a straight edge and a tape measure. Anything that's or a level and a tape measure would work. You could use those to make sure that your plane is exactly in line with the line of the stairs. The instructions come with a place to write down your measurements. So go ahead and use that. I'll just put it on there like this. So this is in the correct position now. And it is exactly 20 inches to the front leg. Now we need to measure to the back leg. And it is 18 7/8. This is absolutely why we measure. So the same measurement on this side is actually 19 and we'll call it 7/8. So it's a whole 1/8 inch difference from here to here. And that's because my concrete is sloped. And now the back should be 18 3/4, and it is. So now that we have our measurements written down, we're going to mark and cut the legs. So very carefully, so we know that our B is 20 inches, and the B was the front, so that would be the bottom edge. So we're going to throw our ruler on here, starting at 1, and mark 20 inches there. And our other measurement is 18 7/8. So 18 7/8, starting at 1, which is 18 7/8 there. And we're going to connect the dots. So that line to that line. There we go. It's super important that you double check this and take the time to make sure the measurements are very accurate. Repairing this, if you were to make an incorrect measurement, would be very problematic. So double and triple check your measurements, go slow, and make sure that what you're marking is correct, and in turn what you're going to cut is correct. So I cut that really long, about 3/8 of an inch long, because I wanted to check it to make sure that we weren't going to have a problem. And it looks like we're in really good shape. All right, we've cut them off to the correct length at this point. We should line up. All right, well, this is going to wrap up the installation of the attic ladder. We got it all mounted to this framework after we framed in the correct opening size, shimmed everything out, mounted it permanently, cut the legs off. Seems to work really well. You absolutely have to have 2 people for this install. There is no way to do this even remotely safely by yourself. This solves a bunch of big problems that we had in our garage here for storage. My wife has all sorts of the normal holiday decorations up there. So this gives her the access to it without me having to be out here. As I said in the beginning, this is in the path of the garage door, which is not ideal, but that is, for my specific circumstances, that is what's necessary. So that's what we've done. We're gonna go ahead and give it another little test here and then wrap this up. So there it is, up and installed. Looks pretty good. I will eventually, when I finish up the other side of the garage, as you can see, we're still working on sheetrock on that side. When I go to paint and everything, I'll paint this to match the ceiling and we'll put some trim around up there, but that's purely aesthetics. Overall, it's a pretty straightforward install. I think if you were to have everything on hand and move forward with it, it'd probably take you 2 hours, is my guess. If you don't have to frame in the rough opening, it'd be a little bit less. Overall, really hope you guys got something out of this one. I hope you learned something. Until next time, thanks for watching.